the kitchen. I have a super delicious breakfast recipe for you today. In fact, I have two recipes. Now, growing up, I always had something called Dutch babies, and a lot of you guys may know what that is. It goes by many different names. It might be a German baby, it might be a German apple pancake, it might be a Dutch baby, lots of different terms that it goes by. But we always just called it Dutch babies, and we served it a little bit different than what I see out there in a lot of cookbooks. A lot of the cookbooks, they use an apple version, but we loved to make a Dutch baby, and then when it came out of the oven, we drizzle fresh lemon juice and put powdered sugar on it, and they were so delicious. And I was going to bring you that recipe today, and I still am, but I was only going to bring you that one recipe. But so many people wanted to learn how to make the other version, the apple Dutch baby or German pancake, or whatever you want to call it, that I decided that I would make both of them today. So one of them, the apple version, we're going to do that by hand, and then just beat it with our with a fork. And then the other version is the one with the lemon. I'm going to actually do that in the blender. So you can kind of see two different ways to do it. Actual pancake, the oven pancake, they look the same, but whether it's going to be a sweet cinnamon brown sugar apple one or it's going to be a tart lemon one, you can choose which one you want. So we're going to get started with the apple Dutch baby pancake. So to start with, we are going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. It's only going to take a couple minutes to get all this ready and into the oven, so I'm going to go ahead and preheat it to start with. The second thing is I love to make it in a cast iron skillet. That helps give it a little bit of a crisp on the outside, and I love the texture of it when it's cooked in a cast iron. And I like to cook so many of my things in a cast iron, so I'm going to use a 10-inch skillet for this recipe. We're going to get the oven preheated, and then we're going to saute the apples and get those ready next. All right, to start with, we're just going to peel our apples and then slice them. Into our skillet, we are going to add our butter and let it melt, and then we'll add our apples. And we're just going to slightly caramelize these. It'll take about 4 to 5 minutes. We're just going to soften these along with the sugar and the cinnamon. So we're just going to stir it up and let them cook until they're soft. While we're waiting for those apples to saute, we are going to mix up our egg mixture. So we're going to put our milk and our flour, our vanilla, and our salt. We're just going to whisk it up. Now into this mixture, we're just going to add 5 eggs. Give it a whisk, a stir, and get it nicely mixed up. Now, if you want the printable recipe for this Dutch baby breakfast, then you can go ahead and click the link below, and that will take you to my blog where I have the printable recipes. It's going to be for both of these, and as well as any details that you would need to know. So you would get that by just clicking the link below. Alright, so the apples are perfectly softened and sugary, and so we're going to take these off the heat now. We are going to spread these out so it's more of an even layer, so when it cooks, all the apples won't be in one spot. We're going to give this one last stir, and then we're going to pour it all over the top of the apples, and we're going to pop it right into that preheated oven. comes out of the oven, you're going to want to be ready to serve it right away, because it really is so beautiful when it comes out of the oven. It puffs up and it's just a gorgeous dish. But as soon as you set it on the table, it only lasts like that for a minute or so, and then it starts, you know, deflating. It starts dropping. So make sure everybody's gathered around the table so that when this comes out of the oven, you can serve it immediately. So we're going to bake this, and then when we serve it, we're going to dust it with powdered sugar. And that is how you make this version of a Dutch Baby, the apple German pancake, I guess is what you would call it. So we're going to get this in the oven, and it's not going to take very long to cook, and then we'll be ready to eat. Wow, look at that. That is so gorgeous. Now you're going to want to eat it right away, because it is going to start falling almost immediately. That is how we make the German apple pancake. Now we're going to make the Dutch Babies, and that's the one with the lemon topping. And during the year, I tend to make the apple one more in the fall, when I'm wanting to do all things pumpkin and apples, and it's just that cozy comfort food with the sauteed, you know, cinnamon sugar apples. And I just tend to make the apple one more in the fall. And then when I'm ready for, you know, after the long winter and I'm ready for spring and crisp and fresh, I tend to do more of this one where we've got the, you know, the fresh lemon juice and a little bit of powdered sugar going on top of it. So that's kind of how we eat them. I mean, of course, you can make them any time of the year, however you want to, but we tend to like this one more in the spring. So I just love this, because if you've got chickens and you've got a lot of eggs coming in, you know that plight of trying to use up a lot of eggs. And I love that the other one, it was 5 eggs, and this one is 4. And so you can, you know, really use up a lot of eggs. If you've got a large family, you could probably use a bigger cast iron skillet and, you know, double the recipe. So it's just a lot of good farm fresh ingredients with your eggs and your milk and, you know, flour and butter, and usually you'll have all these ingredients on hand. So we're going to get busy with this one, the lemon one. Now this one is even easier than the other one. The other one you did have to saute the apples, but that was done very, very quickly. But this one is even quicker, because there really is only one step to this. We're going to mix the eggs, the flour, the milk, and the salt together in the blender. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to pop my skillet into the oven. I'm going to put the butter in the skillet, put it in the oven, and it will be melting while the oven is preheating to 400. While that's being preheated, I'll mix all this up in the blender, and I'll just pull it out, dump it in the skillet, stick it back in the oven, and you're done. So you really can make this in probably 5 minutes. Okay, so the oven is on at 400. I'm just going to drop my butter in the skillet. We're going to pop this in the oven, and then we're going to mix everything up in the blender. Okay, that's all there is to this one. Now I'm going to take this, I'm going to pop it in the oven because it's preheated, and it'll just take about 15 minutes to cook. While I'm waiting for that to cook in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and squeeze some fresh lemon and get everything ready, because like the other one, as soon as you take it out, it does start falling pretty quick. After about 25 seconds, it starts falling. So I'm going to have everything ready, and I just squeezed some fresh lemon juice. And what we like to do is we like to put the powdered sugar, we cut ourselves a slice. I don't put this over the whole top of the entire one in the pan. Each person gets their individual serving, and then we put powdered sugar on it, and then we'll drizzle the lemon juice, because then you can see how much lemon juice is going onto it. Because if you just put it straight on the eggs, it's just going to soak in, and you're not going to be able to tell how much you have. So if you've got that layer of powdered sugar, you can tell how much lemon juice you have as it hits the powdered sugar. and then you know to stop, because you don't want it to be too tart. Oh my word, is this beautiful or what? Look at that. That is gorgeous. Now, you can just sit and enjoy that for a minute, and then you're going to want to slice it up and put that fresh lemon juice and powdered sugar, and you guys are going to love this. So now you can probably see why I love to make Dutch babies. They are so beautiful for the little amount of work they are, and they always impress my guests. So you can really do a lot with these. You don't just have to do lemon juice and powdered sugar. The apple one, you pretty much need to stick to it just being apple, but the other one, it's kind of like a blank canvas. You could really do anything with it. You could put a berry syrup, a thick chunky berry syrup. You could put jam on it. You can just use it as really a platform to do whatever you want. Whatever's in season could go on top of that Dutch baby. So if you, once again, if you want the printable recipe, go ahead and click the link below and you'll get the printable recipe for both the apple and the lemon one, as well as any other information that you might need. And if you enjoyed this, you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe and click that little bell so that you're notified every time I post. I bring a ton of really good, delicious, just farmhouse, farm fresh food to my channel. So you're going to want to subscribe, and we'll see you next week.